Okay, students, wish you a very good evening. Can you hear me? Students, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Thank you for the confirmation, Vishwa. And so I would like to welcome all of you. Although we have only 7 students, that shows your enthusiasm, isn't it? Okay, right. Never mind about that. So welcome. I would like to welcome all of you to the lecture. So today I'm going to discuss about CAATs. So what are CAATs? So today I'll be introducing CAATs as well as I'll be demonstrating what are CAATs. CAAT stands for Computer Assisted Audit Techniques. Some people call it Computer Assisted Audit Tools. Computer Assisted Audit Techniques or Computer Assisted Audit Tools. So what's mostly used is Computer Assisted Audit Techniques. So today we'll be looking at what these are, and also I'll be demonstrating using a CAAT how easy to perform audits, how easy to find anomalies, how easy to find errors. So I'll be explaining that. So you'll be able to very well understand it and do it properly. So we'll try to see what are CAATs and how to use CAATs. Those kind of information we'll be looking at. So first of all, let's see what are CAATs, and before that I'll also be explaining certain information. So what's a CAAT? So these the things that we are going to discuss. What do you mean by ticks to clicks? What are the advantages of using CAATs? What are the precautions of using CAATs? And what are some example techniques that you could use by using CAATs? So we'll be looking at these aspects leisurely, and we'll be understanding. Also, finally, a demonstration. I'll be giving you a live demonstration on how to use CAATs. Okay. Okay. So having told that, let's now go into what's CAATs. So CAATs, you can see the first bullet point. The definition of a CAAT is clear. Right. What are CAATs? CAATs are basically computer-assisted audit techniques or tools, and refers to using technology for increasing the effectiveness and efficiency of audit. So that's what means CAATs. You are using information technology to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of audits. So that's what CAAT means. So any kind of technology, if you are using any kind of technology, information technology, any audit kind of a situation, or any kind of technology for any kind of audit testing, it becomes a CAAT. So that it will increase the efficiency and effectiveness of audit, both internal audit as well as external audits. So you can do audit test of internal audits as well as external audits. So give me a moment. Okay. So that's what the CAAT means, right? You are using information technology. So the key term here is information technology in using computer assisted audit techniques, right? In using computer for the auditing, right? Information technology, I cannot tell even the computer because there are other information technology tools that could be used, different kinds of devices and different kind of processes. So if you are using information technology to increase the efficiency and effectiveness, right, that becomes a CAAT, a computer assisted audit techniques. So at the end of the day, I'm going to demonstrate I'm going to show you how to use a CAAT, right? Because showing certain tools how to use CAATs. Then also further description, CAATs enable auditors to do more with less. Right now, what does that mean? Do more with less. Now, if you need to audit, let's say, several thousands of invoices and or several hundreds of inventory items, CAATs could be used very easily. So you might need only one audit trainee or one auditor to do the tests. That's what it says. You could do more with less. You can test several thousands, millions of items using few audit trainees, right? And also here, since it's the information technology or the computers that we are using, there will be minimum error. Unless the computer or the system or the software is faulty, right? That's a possibility, of course, but unless otherwise, you will have 100% accurate results. I'll show you. I'll show you how. It takes only seconds to detect certain errors. It takes seconds to detect certain frauds. So that's the power of CAATs. And then also you have to understand that there are certain CAAT tools, computer assisted audit tools. These are packages that are available like Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word. These are packages now, right? Likewise, there are certain software packages dedicated for this purpose, audit purposes. So IDEA, then we have ACL, Audit Command Language, Teammate Analytics, then Arbutus Analyzer, etc., etc. Out of these, the first two are very popular. ACL is very popular now. We call that Galvanize, in fact. But IDEA is, I think, more easy to use, as well as that's my own experience, and it has enhanced its capabilities very well. So you can see that has a high degree of capabilities, functionalities, and you can even add macros and increase the functionality of IDEA. ACL also you can run certain procedures, but again, IDEA is what I prefer. And in another course I teach for 15 weeks, I teach IDEA, how to do audits and how to detect frauds. So it's a very powerful software, and IDEA it is, and I'll be teaching you. Then you might ask why Excel is not included here. Why Excel is not included here? You can see only IDEA is included here. Why? Can a student tell why Excel, Microsoft Excel, is not included? Because you might be in auditing in your audit firms, and when you are performing audits, you might be using Microsoft Excel. But I have not listed that here. Why? Can someone give me an answer? Anyone? Why? Why do you think that Microsoft Excel is not used? Excel method නැත්තේ. Why is that? You can type and send me an answer. I don't prefer to ask questions now from students because they might not be in the lecture, they might be in the lecture. So anyone who would like to engage could send me a text message. So that's what we call lecture engagement. But I don't want anyone to engage by force. If you want, you can engage, you can type and send your ideas. That's fine. Why do you think Microsoft Excel is not included here? Why is that? Yeah, I'm getting an answer. Thank you very much. So Kasun is giving an answer and Dev is giving an answer. Very good. So these students are engaging in the lecture. So that will have a big difference rather than just listening to a lecture. actively engaging in lecture is a different story, right? So Kasun says, as it is not created for aiming audit procedures. Excellent, that's the answer. Then Dev says, in Excel, we use formulas to get relevant information and differences. There are, I guess, some softwares, of course. What both are trying to say is Microsoft Excel is not an audit software. It's a general purpose spreadsheet package. With all due respect to that package, it's an excellent package. I use every, I would say, hour, or even every minute, I would say. Even before you came in, just after lecture also, I have today a huge Excel engagement. So likewise, what I would like to say is Excel indeed, yes, it's a general purpose spreadsheet package. It has certain capabilities. It has certain capabilities that we could use for auditing, of course, but it's not designed for that purpose, right? It's not designed for that purpose. Now, we can use a pen as certain tools, no? Right? We can use a pen for, lifting certain things and doing certain things, hitting a person, right? Although it's not preferable. Likewise, we can use a pen for certain different things. But again, that's why the pen is not designed for that, to lifting things or hitting things or hitting people or whatever, creatures or whatever. So pens are used for writing. Likewise, Microsoft Excel is for general purpose spreadsheet purposes, right? But on the other hand, you will see uh, these packages, what we call this CAAT packages, like IDEA, ACL, they are dedicated packages. They are dedicated packages with extra safety and very powerful analytics for auditing purposes, for internal as well as external auditing purposes. Right. So there are several differences between Microsoft Excel and IDEA. Right. So I'm going to give you a small exercise during the class. What's the difference between Microsoft Excel and IDEA? Right. So if you see that, you will see that there are numerous differences between Excel and IDEA. Numerous differences. And you will see how powerful, and there are tools directly that you can apply. Now in Microsoft Excel, you have to write formula. That's very inefficient, as well as sometimes you might make errors. But in IDEA, as well as other CAAT software, right, it's only one click. It will do all the things, and it will, even in IDEA, you can record, and it's all automatically the audit trail is recorded. Now in Excel, that is not there. So therefore, there are numerous differences. Maybe in the exam, you might be asked a question, what's the difference between IDEA and Microsoft Excel? So you have to know this. So it's an assignment. It's a thing that you have to look into, right? I'm not going to ask you to submit anything, but you have to understand that yes, there are differences between IDEA. So, and Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel is a general purpose spreadsheet package, not a CAAT. So these software listed here, you can see it, IDEA, ACL, Teammate, Analytics, and there are others as well. And there are some even cloud-based solutions, CAATs, and you can use them very easily. Those are very powerful and very capable. Okay, so that's right. So that's what is a CAAT. Then what do you mean by, right, this ticks versus clicks? Now, as auditing, if you are an audit trainee, an intern, then when you go and do audits, you put tick marks. Different tick marks are there. Manually, you put the tick marks. And that's what you do in manual auditing. So ticks represent manual auditing, right? You will go and tick the invoices, you will go and tick the other support documents. Likewise, you will be putting ticks. So you are checking the accuracy, completeness, and those kind of other things, and trying to achieve the audit objectives using this ticking. That's for manual audits. But on the other hand, when you are using clicks, means you are using CAATs. right? So this is ticks versus clicks, means manual auditing versus computer assisted audit techniques, using computer assisted audit techniques. So these are the differences: manual auditing versus computer assisted audit techniques. So you have to understand that in the modern world, the companies are also using computer-based systems. So why not the auditors should use them? So I see the big audit firms, the large audit firms are of course using that. The medium scale firms are also using that. Some small scale firms are also using these computer assisted audit techniques, as well as they are using the cloud-based systems and other kind of internet technology enabled systems. But still I see some smaller firms, right? I could say tiny firms, they are using, manual systems, as well as they are using, they are using Microsoft Excel and not using the sophisticated software. So they have to a little bit improve themselves, right? And make themselves, kind of efficient and effective. So why do we need to use CAATs? Already we got two answers for that: to increase the efficiency, to increase the effectiveness, right? Also, there are several other specific advantages, as you could see. Now, CAATs could test the total population. Now, if I have 1 million invoices, it will check all 1 million invoices. Now, in manual audit, is it possible? No, it's not. 1 million invoices you can, but it is not cost beneficial. So you will get a sample. You will get a sample. And here, using CAATs, you can check it 100%, right? And of course, it is fast. You will see, to check several thousands of invoices, it will take 1 second or 2 seconds, right? To check the gaps, to check the duplicates. So we'll see that, right? I'll give you an example, a live demonstration. Then of course, it's very cost effective because you don't need to pay 10 or 15 audit trainees, right? The computer software will do the thing. The software is initially a little bit expensive, but again, it's an investment. It's like your education setting. It's education, it takes time, right? It's not easy. You have to go to audit firms in the morning, and then in the evening you have to study. So it's not effective. It's not effective. It's not easy. It's indeed effective, but it's not easy. But later on, after these 4 years, right, you are going to reap the benefits, right? So you will have a quite small discomfort, but for the benefit that you are going to receive in the future. So likewise, CAATs also, you might need to invest a bit, right? Invest a bit, it's a little bit expensive. But on the other hand, it's well worth that investment, right? So it's very cost effective in the long run. So of course, reliable, right? Not like certain interns who would tell that they checked, but they did not check it. So there are certain, we call that dysfunctional audit behavior. And we presented a paper, as well as we did a research on that as well. Dysfunctional audit behavior. Dysfunctional audit behavior is that they are not doing the, they are not honest. Some trainees, they say they did it, they checked it, but they have not done it, right? So now, but the computer systems, right, provided that they are working properly, will be highly reliable, right? You can rely on them, and of course, it's not that some students are dishonest or some interns are dishonest. Now we are prone to human error. Being humans, you might make mistakes, but computer systems, they don't make mistakes. They are full reliable, highly reliable. If they are working properly, if they are malfunctioning, then it will be consistently malfunctioning. And of course, as I told you, that these systems, computer assisted audit techniques, are effective as well as efficient, right? So therefore, these are the advantages. These are the benefits that you can get, you can derive out of CAATs, computer assisted audit techniques. Right. But on the other hand, you have to be cautious when you are using CAATs, right? So if you are not prepared well, if you have got the wrong data, and if you get unreliable data from the client, then of course, your testing would not be correct, right? So you have to plan well and get the correct data. Ensure that you are getting the correct data. It doesn't get corrupted, and you will be able to analyze them. So likewise, you have to understand very well that CAATs, you have to, now this is about data. If you get wrong data, you will get the wrong result. Therefore, you have to first, that's what it says, identify correctly data to be audited. So you have to understand to get the proper data, and you have to make that request in a request form and get the data and take it on a reliable basis. And the client has to give that. Collect the relevant and correct data files. So once you identify, you have to correct the correct ones. If you get the wrong ones, maybe you get the last year's files, right? Invoices. Again, you can check all the invoices, but you are checking the last year ones, not this year's ones. Then it's useless. Therefore, keep in mind to request the proper data and take the proper data for your CAAT audits. Right? Then identify all the important fields. Then you have to understand what kind of data fields that you use. Okay, is it the date? Is it the tax? Is it the invoice amount? Is it the net amount? Is it the discounts? The customer? Likewise, you have now there are different data fields that are there. Right? When you take an invoice, you take in the inventory file. So you have to now based on the test that you have been performed, you have to identify what what areas or what information you require, what fields you require. State in advance the format of the data, and you have to give the client, okay, this is the format that you require. Most of the packages will give you the proper format, and most of these what we call these CAATs could identify different. Now idea can different. You'll see when I demonstrate, it can identify several kind of formats like Excel format, text format, CSV format, then some other formats as well, that some computerized Sage 50 and then SAP files, it could identify those things, right? Then ensure the data represents the audit universe correctly and completely. Again, you are taking the population properly. If not, then again, it's going to be, erroneous data. Then ensure data analysis is relevant and complete. So then you have to perform the correct analysis to identify the, to achieve the proper audit objectives. We know the audit objective depends, the audit procedure depends on the audit objective that you are going to perform. So likewise, there are different tests, different CAAT tests, computer-assisted audit techniques that you can apply. And there are different techniques, and you have to know what to use. Then you can perform the substantive testing using CAATs. Right? Information provided by CAATs could only be indicators of problems. Of course, again, remember, once you get the result, you might need to interpret. You have to see. There might be anomalies. Now, I'll ask you, now, for an example, if you see any missing invoice numbers, right? The CAAT will tell that certain invoice numbers are missing. But then you have to see what has gone wrong. Is it a fraud, or is it an error, or are those cancelled invoice? Likewise, you have to investigate. So CAATs would provide only indicators, right? For some exceptions. Usually, you don't expect, what we call gaps in the invoice numbers, because those are issued consecutively. Consecutive numbering is there, but again, if you see that, then you might need to investigate what has gone wrong. So those are things that you have to be cautious. So we understood what are CAATs, and also we understood that what are the benefits that using of CAATs, as well as we understood what are the precautions that you have to think of when you are going to use CAATs, right? Precautions to take. Then now let's come to what are CAATs, or what are the different CAATs techniques, right? One is identifying exceptions. Now, for an example, now when you sell customers on credit, you give credit limits. Now using CAATs, now let's say you have 20,000 customers, and if you want to check whether these guys have exceeded the credit limits, it's a matter of 1 or 2 seconds. You can check it very quickly, right? Those are called, now you can run a procedure called extraction. So by using a direct extraction, you can very quickly identify who are the customers who had exceeded the credit limit. So identify exceptions is very easy using CAATs. Then also you can analyze controls. Identify whether the control asset have been working as prescribed, right? Whether now, for an example, now if there are controls over again authorized limits, if someone has exceeded them, we can check that. Then identify errors, right? Now, for an example, if the accounting number is not numeric, then you can check that. Then statistical sampling, you can easily get statistical sampling. I think that's the only, in certain audit firms, that's the only thing that they do using IDEA, the statistical sampling. But not only statistical sampling, you can do several other battery of tests using IDEA. Then detect frauds, of course. You can see anomalies. For example, transaction entered on weekdays, weekends, right? That means weekdays after office hours. Right? Transactions entered on weekends or even in weekdays after office hours, you could check. Large transactions you could check. And also purchases from vendors who are not approved. So if you have vendor master file, you can check the purchases against that vendor master file. But within seconds, you can identify whether there are any unapproved vendors that you have taken from bought from suppliers who are not approved. Right? Those things you can identify and check very, very easily using CAATs. Verify calculations. And you can now you can check now, for an example, you can take the sales invoices and you can calculate the VAT amounts, the tax amounts, and see whether it's correct. Independently, you can calculate that and check that with the invoice values. Then existence of records, you can check whether any invoices that do not have a vendor name. So null fields. Now you cannot have, sometimes you cannot generate a invoice without a vendor name, but if there are records of that nature, you can get that. Data completeness, you can see whether the data is complete, right? Whether there are again that, gaps, there are gaps, it might indicate the data is not complete. Then whether the data is consistent, right? Data consistency is whether you have, again, gaps or whether you have duplicates or not in a required sequence. You can check all those things. Duplicate payments, you can see those duplicates, right? The invoice number, there cannot be the same two invoice numbers. So you can check that. Inventory obsolescence, you can again run a test where you can see what are the items that are below net realizable value, right? If the net realizable values are given, and whether you can check that with the cost and whether the valuation is done properly. Then accounts exceeding the authorized limits again, as I told you. If there are limits, if there are any customers who are exceeding them. So likewise, these are only, I have just given 12. So there are hundreds of tests that you can perform using IDEA, as well as CAATs. Not only IDEA, as well as CAATs. So this is about CAATs. Is it clear? So I'm going to demonstrate now some of these tests, right? And show you how to perform these tests. Is it clear? Okay, I'm getting, yes, Kasun and Dev are the only two actively involved students. Thank you for that, right? So that's enough, because the exams now, now this Sunday will be the last class. So Sunday, Vajra will be taking. And after that, that's the end of the series of lectures. And today I'm going to give you a brief description of the examination. So, and after that, the lecture series is going to be over. And all the videos are there, so it's up to you to watch that. And remember, you get a standard good paper, right? And the paper now itself, let me tell that it's interesting. The paper will be entirely online, right? Entirely online, right? For 3 hours, it will be entirely online. But there's a small difference between other online papers that you might have written and this paper? What's the difference? This is going to be an online paper. So what's the main difference? It's on campus as well. Online on campus. Meaning that as you did your midterm, you have to come to the university and physically go into the computer lab, ITRC, and do the 3-hour exam online. So there are what type of questions are going to be there? There will be all types of questions. Essay type of questions. You will be given small case studies, right? And there will be essay type of questions. Essays you have to write. Of course, you will your typing speed, even if it is slower, right? It's fine, no problem. I have given the things that the time set the 3 hours, even considering that. So there will be essay type questions. There will be short answer questions as well as there will be MCQ questions, right? So there will be about actually 50 questions altogether. Different types. Small case studies with essay type questions. Likewise, different types of questions will be there. Right? There will be, of course, a case study, right? And you'll be tested that. A small mini case studies, 1 page or 1.5 page case studies. Now, for an example, a fraud case, and it will ask about different kinds of things, right? And likewise, what kind of audit procedure should be performed. Now, if you want to see, right, sample questions, go to a textbook and see the chapter end questions. You will see these essay type questions, case study questions, and short answer questions, MCQ questions, all types of questions are there. So refer those. Prepare well. So it will be a 3-hour paper, right? Entirely online within the university. You have to do that, and you are not going to write it and upload it. You are going to write your answers at the LMS. In the LMS, you can write. Right, you'll be given a box, and you have to type the answers. You have to read the question, and you have to type the answers. So it's going to be, a kind of a comprehensive assessment. There are no past papers because why? Because these questions are entered into a question bank. So if we give the questions out, that will be the end of the case. Then we don't have a bank after that. So therefore, it's a question bank that's there. So it will be taking questions out of those banks and giving to you. So therefore, if you want to know the nature of the questions, so please look at the chapter end questions of your textbook. Right? Practice them. And that's the way that you can understand the nature of the questions. And so the entire syllabus will be covered from the day 1 up to 24th, where we are going to have the final lecture. Right? So be well prepared. And you know that the midterm exam also was not, very easy. It was not too hard, but it will be a standard paper. So therefore, kindly study. So you have enough time. That's what I'm telling you. You have enough time, and you have now completed your assignment, and you have submitted your assignment. So therefore, now what's required is that you have to do your duty as a student to study well, right? And you have to help us to pass you. If you purposely fail, then I cannot help that. Is that clear? If you want any more information, you can ask me now, because today is going to be my last session to you. And then on 24th, right, again from 2:30 to 5:30, you will have Vajrasa's lecture. Anything you would like to clarify regarding the question paper? Ask it now. Don't ask any other time. Clarify in the lecture. That's why you have to come to the lectures and clarify. I won't answer any other questions outside the lecture. Right? Because this is the time I have reserved for you, and this is the time that you have to engage with me. Right? So now is the time that you had asked. Now I clarified, okay, it's a 3-hour paper online on campus, meaning we have to do it at ITRC. And it's a 3-hour comprehensive paper that covers almost all areas, and sample questions you can see at the chapter end of your textbook. And so that's it. What else would you like to know? You can, now I told you, now even now you can send me text messages anytime, and you can, if you have any clarifications, you can ask me, but only now, right? After this, there won't be any, interaction related to this, because students will have to understand to come through the lectures and make any clarifications. And if not, I can't help. Okay, right. So this is the time reserved for you. You have to take the maximum out of that. Okay. Anything that you want to clarify, please put it on the chat and send it to me. So yes, I heard now according to, things will go according to the plan. So you know what are the examination dates, and it will be executed accordingly, right? So I don't think there will be any deferment or postponements. So you will have your exams as scheduled, and you have to come here physically do it. So I don't think they will ever consider doing it off campus online. No, I don't think. Yeah, I have got a question. Of course, all are compulsory. So Dhananjay is asking, is all questions compulsory? Of course, yes. All are compulsory. You write all, and there will be several questions, about 50 questions of different kind. So comprehensive assessment will be there, and you have to work hard. And usually, papers that you write for, that it will be only 5 questions. Then some parts will be there, but here and in those physical papers, we can test only to a certain extent. Knowledge we can test to a certain extent. But using the same time, if it is a computer-based paper, we can test a great deal of area. So that's why only last year, and last year we had to do it, kind of that, writing and uploading thing. But before that, so I was the first lecturer in the university system, I believe, had this paper, entire 3-hour paper online for 6 years, right? About 8 years back, I introduced this system. It went very successfully, and only last year, because of the COVID thing, we could not do that. But before that, it was the system. But this time also, it will be the system. So be prepared. Be prepared. Be well prepared. A comprehensive assessment will be there. So thank you, Dhananjay. So he had a question, so he asked that. So how about others? Okay, so if you do have any questions, just send a text message. I'll be very happy to. So Devi is asking a question. So sometimes our typing speed, it differs, of course. So it's taken into consideration. You will be given adequate time. I know that. So I have done not only an item analysis, I have done a time analysis. So I have taken into consideration that aspect. So because don't think this is for the first time that we are doing an online paper. This is my 7th time or maybe 9th time, right? Where students are writing this kind of a paper for auditing. So therefore, those all are taken into consideration. Okay. So you have to give precise answers. Now, sometimes some students, they try to write now. They try to write what? Novels. Tomorrow, Granthakaranaya means in Sinhala language means you are trying to write novels. No, you have to write to the point and explain adequately. So therefore, yes, time, right? That slow typers and all kind of typers are considered. So yes, that 3 hours, actually the paper could be completed by 2.5 hours, even 2 hours and 20 minutes. So that additional 40 minutes is given for that. So it's included there. That's included. Okay. Then Kasun is asking, sir, does typing errors like, no, typing errors won't be considered because I'm not checking your English language. We have to, I don't know who taught you English and, business communication, maybe it's Spanji comes and from the English unit. So it's their duty, it's not my duty, I'm not concerned. But you have to write something I could read and understand, not, BS. So that one you have to tell, you have to write, you have to tell, you have to express that things could be understood. Right? Other than that, spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, it's not an English paper, no. So no problem. You can write whatever you want, but make it clear and to the point. Okay. So Janan is asking, sir, for the case studies, are we allowed to draft the answer in paper? No, papers are not allowed. It's fully computerized exams. So you can use Microsoft Word if you want, and you can draft it there. And you can keep notes and you can do anything. Microsoft Excel, Word, you can use. But physical papers are not given because it's completely computer-based exam. And it had never been a problem, and you don't need also calculators because you can use Microsoft Excel. And after all, it's an audit paper. I don't think you will ever require, that was because I'm not going to, test unnecessary skills over there, like your mathematical skills. I'm testing your skills, knowledge, skills on auditing and assurance. Thank you, Janani. I'm getting very good questions. Okay, Dev, thank you. So yes, so because remember, I'm not going to do an experiment, right? This is Mama doing giving you computer-based exams. So I was doing this for last about 8 years, except last year. And also not only for third years, it's for final years as well for the corporate governance paper. And not only for that, for the data analytics paper as well. So students very well enjoyed, and we could save a great deal of paper, unnecessary, wasting paper, as well as even students enjoy. They ask, I don't know, your immediate seniors unfortunately did not get that chance, but because because of Corona. But your past seniors, if you ask them at your audit firms or non-audit firms, they will tell it had been a great experience. Right? But remember, you have to work hard. You can, again, this is the thing. If you work a little bit hard, then you can get maybe a C pass or B pass or whatever, and you can pass the exam. But if you really are trying to targeting between A or A plus or A, or even an A minus, you have to work extremely hard. Right? You cannot get it free of, you can just get marks. So I think it's a great harm if you just give marks and try to pass the students. Yes, I'm a person who would like to see students pass. I don't like to see anyone fail. But other than I won't consider giving just A and A pluses. You have to earn that. You have to work hard and earn it. Right? So that's what is important. You can just, anyone can, if you work a little bit, hard, then you can just pass the exam. Have a C pass or C plus or whatever, B minus, and you can pass the exam. That's it. But if you really want to get, if you are targeting for a first class or a second upper or even second lower, then you have to work really hard and you have to earn that. Right? So that's where you have to put your, pedal to the metal and put your accelerator in full throttle, and you have to work hard. Right? To get good things in your life, you have to work hard. I do understand there are difficulties. I do understand a lot of things are going on. I do understand. That's why I really wouldn't want anyone to fail. So it's a very sad thing to fail, and the failure rates of my subjects are quite low. But on the other hand, if you want to put a really, these are compulsory subject, not an optional subject. So therefore, if you want to really get good marks and good grades, you have to work hard and do it very good. So in that case, you will be able to get good marks, good grades afterwards, and and get your classes. Not put on, like it's not like we put these subjects in option and just give that, okay, take this, take A's, take the first class, take the second upper. No, you have to get that. You have to really earn that with your efforts. Okay, what else? Because this will be the last lecture that you will be able to interact with me, right? Then on Sunday, because Mr. Vajra had a problem, so during because of his internal quality reviews, he could not do some lectures. So the last lecture will be next Sunday, 24th, right? And already I think Kasun has informed that to you, and Mr. Vajira confirmed that. So it will be from 2:30 to 5 or 5:30. Is that clear? Any question you can pose, right? Yeah, good questions. But out of this, I would not answer any other questions. So if you do have any questions, come to the lecture, clarify that, and that's it. Because we have allocated a time for all, right? Everything we have allocated time. Now, what has gone wrong in our lives is we are using time inefficiently, ineffectively. If you have allocated time for something, use that time for that, and then the life has to go. So therefore, students are supposed to come to the lecture, get it clarified. So I'm not going to answer any other questions out of this lecture, right? So please do clarify anything, and I'll be very happy to. And nothing much to clarify. Of course, get ready and do the exams well. In fact, I wish you all the very best for that. Okay. So again, everything will be tested, right? Keep that in mind. CAATs, not practically will be tested, but I'm going to ask certain tests that I'm going to teach you today, right? And certain areas I already covered. So there you have to understand. Okay. Further, any questions, you can just post it and we can discuss. Okay. So now I think it's high time that I demonstrate using a CAAT. Even you can use this CAAT. I initiated the department and I wrote to Caseware idea and came up with them with an MOU, memorandum of understanding. And so they gave me the educational version of the software. And if someone is interested, I can give that to you. So I'm going to demonstrate that. So it has certain limitations, but it never expires, but there are certain limitations. So you can, the maximum records that in a module can be 1,000 records. So that's the only limitation, but for my demonstration teaching purposes, it doesn't matter at all because it's only for demonstration purposes. So if anyone is interested, I can give you the package and you can practice that. But for the exam, I'm not going to ask you to do idea, right? I'm not going to ask you to do that because no software packages I will be testing under this course, right? Because this is auditing and assurance. Okay, so here you have to use your knowledge and skills and particularly application aspect. Now, some students might just cram. No, you have to understand what you are studying and apply that. So therefore, your cramming skills wouldn't help. It will help you to get a C. But if you want to get a higher grade, you have to understand well what's being taught, read the book, watch videos, read additional materials. So therefore, you have to work well. Okay, that's the only way that you can get good grades. If not, I'm doing harm to the knowledge creation process, right? Because you have to work hard, then only you should be able to earn things, earn your grades. Okay. Right. So thanks for the questions. Right. Thank you for the questions. Okay. Now let me write in the website in the LMS. You will have this an Excel file. I think one student's camera got on. Sachini. Okay, thank you. Be very careful, particularly female students. Right now, so let me take you to the LMS. Maybe it's to LMS. Okay, this is your LMS. So, okay, and you will see. Yeah, I think I need to. Oh, it's there. So you'll see that this is. You can see we conducted almost all sessions, right? All 50, I think 13, 14, 15 sessions. So, so all will be covered during the exams, and I also had put all the video recording. And also thank you, Puta. I got the video recording for last Sunday. Thank you really. And you can see. So we have done 14 test sessions. Okay, with include on 24th on if you take 24th as well. So here you can see that there's the idea tutorial. Entire tutorial is there. Idea, right? 10 tutorial. So, but if you are interested, you can go through that. But I'm just going to demonstrate certain areas. So, topic 13, you can download these two files, right, and use idea. So, if someone is interested, I can give you the idea software. So, please tell me. You can tell Fasun, and then I'll arrange to give that link to you. So then you can do the necessary, you know, you can do it and you can see. But for the examination, it's not necessary. I'm not going to ask, okay, do idea and show me the results now. So yes, let me go to this Word file. So you can open it, you can download it and open it. So if you do have any other questions related to the exam, please do ask me. I'll be very happy to explain that. So open the Word file. And also there's an Excel file that you have to open. So till this one gets open, you can go there and you can see that there's an Excel file, which is the data file for this demonstration. So I'm going to show you certain tests that how easily you can do using IDEA. So then I'll be discussing these things. Now there will be an optional subject in your next semester. That's going to be data analytics in accounting. That's data analytics in accounting, and that's an optional subject that I'll be offering. So I'm going to teach you there are several other data analytics software and how to make decisions. Right? Including advanced analysis using IDEA. So I'm just showing the demonstration. So what are the capabilities IDEA could do? So if you open this Excel file, the Excel file also I have opened. So what do we have in there? So you can see the invoice reference number is there in this file. Then the account number, the customer account is the customer number. Then the balance and when it's due, the due date is there. So these are the four, fields or variables, right? In research, we call it variables. So in auditing, we call these fields. We have four key fields: reference number, the invoice number, then the account number is the customer account numbers, then the balance is the balance relevant to that open invoice. So this is an open invoice file. Open invoice file is the invoices not yet settled, even though it's the year end. So those are called open invoices. So maybe it's under the credit period yet, or maybe they have exceeded the credit period but not yet settled. So those are open invoices. So this is the open invoice file. Yet not settled file. Yet not settled invoices. The customers have bought on credit. So these are the information that's there, and we are going to do some analysis. right? Now tell me what kind of analysis that you can perform. Now, if you're auditors, you should be able to look at this file and tell me what kind of analysis that you could perform. So you should be able to, even once you see the file, you should get the idea, right? You will get all these skills when you do data analytics, right? When you see the data, you will be able to identify what are the skills. So the students, your seniors, they really enjoyed. So in doing that data, but again, remember, at the Department of Accounting, we have caps given, right, for certain courses. So even last time, previous year, there was huge demand for that course. So the faculty opens this, to register for certain subject, to register for the courses. They open that at very odd times. So last time it was early in the morning, around 2:30 a.m. and students were waiting at 2:30 to register for this subject, right? And then some people could not, and they made a special request, and certain things happen. So therefore, it's a highly demanded optional subject. So you can get more information from your seniors. And yeah, students really enjoy it. Now from next semester, so the next day it will be a compulsory subject because there's so much demand. But remember, there's a cap in the department. Maximum the one optional subject. Now there are about 3 or 4 optional subjects. Only 50 students. Only 50 students will be allowed to take one optional subject. So that's why there was huge demand, and students were crying, lamenting, calling me. I told I cannot do anything. It all is the department policy, and we have got a cap. So then there are other optional subjects. So why not you consider doing that? All subjects are important, right? But however, if you look at these fields, you should be able to tell certain tests immediately. What are certain tests? I'll be teaching these things to you. One, now you have the invoice numbers. These are the invoice numbers. So now these are not in an order, but once you put that in an order, there cannot be gaps, right? Then the account numbers also, yeah, there could be gaps, but again, we have to investigate if there are any gaps, why is there? And also the balances cannot exceed the credit limit, and the date has to fall within the proper period, within the accounting period. If it is falling the next period, then say this open invoice file, it's not correct. So the proper cutoff might not be there. Likewise, you should be able to understand what kind of test that you are going to do. But for the exam, you don't need to worry about that because you are not going to ask to do live, testing. Okay. So let me go to the Word file. So I'm wondering why that Word file did not open. So let me see. Finally, it's there. Okay. So this is the live demo. So here read the questions. I have given certain questions. Don't worry. Yeah, I'll be teaching these things. But what you have to understand is I'll be testing to a certain extent. I'll be testing this to a certain extent by giving, not asking you to do or use idea, but to a certain extent, I'll be asking you to, demonstrate your understanding at the exam. Right? So I'll sometimes do the output and I'll ask you to interpret some things like that. So, okay. Right. Now you are the auditor of selected company, ABC company. Your client maintains an open invoice file in Excel. Open invoice file is yet unsettled invoices at the end of the year, at the end of the accounting period. The file contains the following fields of information: invoice reference number, account number, date of sales, and balance of each invoice. So you saw that, right? The fiscal year end was June 30th, 2006. That's the end of the period. The file had 806 unpaid sales invoices for the year. The value of the accounts receivable in the general ledger was $279,005 on June 30th, 2006. In planning the audit of unpaid invoices and accounts receivable, so it becomes unpaid invoices becomes the account receivable balance. Your audit partner asks you to prepare the following reports using idea. Okay, so we'll see how to do it. So first thing what you have to do is you have to load that Excel file into idea. So let's see how to do that. And then you can perform different kind of, so you can perform an age analysis easily. Custom age analysis, I already told you sometimes back. And then I told you I use IDEA to demonstrate how to perform this test. Okay. So here we'll see first how to load this Excel file. Now I showed you this Excel file. So I opened it and I'm showing you that. Best thing is to, before you load that to any other software, close the Excel file. But if you have already opened it, so I am closing it. Right. Okay, great. So then I will go back here and it says, okay, load the Excel file. So I already opened IDEA because it's a huge software. It takes some time. So this is IDEA interface, right? A nice interface. And if you go to analyze over here, you will see the battery of tests are there. Still it's not active because data is not there. So what I'll do is I'll go to again to the home tab. And first of all, what I'll do is I'll create a new client, right? For each client, you will create a new client in IDEA. So you'll go to create. We'll go to create over here. You can see create. And there are two kinds of projects that you can create: manage projects and external projects. Simply what it means is, if you want to keep in your own computer the data files, because IDEA will create its own files once it imports data from Excel or some other spreadsheet or whatever other source, then it will convert that to IDEA files. So it will then, if manage project, it will be keeping it in your own computer under your My Documents. It will create under My Documents a small, folder for that company, and it will maintain all the files there. So manage project, I will say project name. I'll use, it was ABC company, isn't it? Yeah, ABC company. You are the auditor of selected company, ABC company. So usually what you do is you create that using that name. So let me put that ABC company. Right, and let's make it a managed project. So that means you are going to maintain the files within this computer, your local computer. Or if you want to keep it in an external source, then you can keep it even in a pen drive, then it can be external project. So I'm going to keep it in my computer. So I'm going to say okay. Then that file is created, right? There's a client created for that name. So it's going to be ABC company. Then what you can do is, now it's blank. You can see here in the file explorer, no file is there because we still not important. Now imported any file. Now let's import that Excel file into IDEA. So I'm going to go to, now if you want to import, now you created using create command or the create menu, then you are going to use this desktop command to import data. So I'm going to go to desktop, and then you can see different data sources are there. You can see text, SAP, XML, DBase, AS400, likewise all system, it could recognize files. So I'm going to go to Microsoft Excel because it's Microsoft Excel, and then I'm going to locate the file. So it says file name. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to locate the file. Okay. And so I have all my files in OneDrive, Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce, and I'm going to BA. Then I'm going to go to Audit and Assurance 2022. And you can see this the file that I wanted. Topic 13 IDEA Live Demo. So that you can download and you can import. So I'm going to import the contents of this. I'm going to say open. Great. So the file is selected. So then I'm going to go to next. So dialog box appears that's saying what to import. So I'll say the first row is the field names, the variable names. You can say reference number. It also has taken a data item and observation. No, it also should be, actually these should be the column headings. So therefore I'm going to say first row is the field names, So I'm going to click this, so it becomes the field names, reference number, account number, balance became now field names. And yes, that's it. And in sheet 1, the data was there. In this Excel file, there are 2 sheets. The sheet number 2 is not necessary. Sheet 1 is there. And then it says output file name, ID. No, it's not ID. No, I'll give a meaningful name here. Let's say open invoice. Right. Open invoices. Let's say open invoice. Right. Any name, you can give some meaningful name, so it will come over here. It will come in the file, under the file explorer. So I'm going to press OK. You can see now it's imported. And unlike in Excel, now it's like Excel, but it's not like in Excel. Now you cannot delete anything, because once the client data is in the auditor system, nothing, no manipulation. Now by mistakenly in Excel file, you could get deleted. Things could get deleted. But in IDEA, it's not allowed. You can change under certain ways. You can change it, but it's restricted. So if you just press this and try to delete that one, it will say can't. That's the safety given. And now if you go to analyze, you will see a battery of tests. So all these tests are there. You can perform all these tests. Okay, right. Now first under the requirement, it says to perform an age analysis. Perform an age analysis, right? A custom age analysis on 30th June 2006. Prepare an aging report based on 0 to 29 days, 30 to 59 days, 60 to 89 days. Likewise, the date categories again, you can change these things, right? Likewise. So we call this age analysis. Did I discuss about an age analysis in the lecture? Yes or no? Age analysis. So what do you do under age analysis? Custom age analysis. You get the birth certificates of the customers and you see whether they are under a certain age. Is that what you do? What do you do under age analysis? Did I discuss that with you? Yes or no? Rather than did I discuss? Indeed, yes. Right. Indeed, yes. The difference between the cutoff date and the invoice date, very good. Excellent. So Devi is giving the answer and Devi is telling about subsequent settlements. Yes, good. Very good. Excellent. Kasun also has given his input. Great. Okay. So again, let me hide Control Alt Shift H. Control Shift H. Okay. So it will hide the zoom controls because it's distracting me. Okay. Then let's see how to do an age analysis, custom age analysis. Very simple. You go to the data, you go to again idea, and then you are going to use aging here. Can you see aging? You press aging, and then it will ask what's the aging date. That's the balance sheet date. So aging date is the balance sheet date. So the balance sheet date was when 30th June 2006. So it's 30th June 2006. 6. Or the calendar is there. You can select from the calendar as well, but it's efficient that I just type it. Then the criteria is there's not applicable. Then the aging field is the date, invoice date, and what to age is the balance, right? Based on the balance. So it says, okay, I'll say aging. Here you can see it's going to create a result. So I'll say customer. And press OK. Okay, within a second you can see the result is there, and you can see here it's very interesting. 0 to 29 days. You can see there are 159 records, and there are this amount of debits 32,606, and you can see the percentage is also given out of 279,005. So that was the total balance of customer receivables. So it's 11.69. right? The percentage is also given. Then you can see, right? So it's 0 days, right? Then so 1 to 20, 1 to 30. You can see this amount of records are there. So likewise, you can see the aging categories in days, right? Okay. So then here you can see this category is 31 to 60. So this 61 to 90, likewise you can see there are none. But you can see here, my goodness. So 91 days to 120, there are 157 records. Quite large, isn't it? There are 121 to 150, there are 300, and you can see the net value of these. These are all records, means these are all transactions, and it's you can press, it will be the list. What are these? And you can see there are 322. My God, so huge, aging. Now it shows something is wrong in this organization. Because usually the credit period is 30 days. 30 days. But here you can see there are huge amount of, outstanding balances. So by looking at this, what you can do, you can see that there's something wrong, and then you can calculate your own independent calculation. You can apply the percentages, maybe different percentages based on the auditor's experience, and you can calculate the allowance for bad debts and compare that with the client's value and see whether it's higher or lower. Like usually it would be lower the client's value, and then ask them to pass a journal entry for the shortfall. Right? So those kind of tests you can do. Now this aging, and you can export this to Excel. You can see there's an Excel file sent to Excel, and easily you can calculate the percentage. Calculate the percentage. So that kind of, so I have shown here, so 150 days. So these are the, some of the transactions, 121 to, so you can see these are the records. So you can display the records. What are some records? You can see these are the records. You can see 91 to, so you can see certain things are there, right? So the auditor will have to check this. Okay. Okay, so that's how you do an age analysis in IBM. Then auditor can of course do, as I told you, a bad debt calculation. So maybe the auditor's policy is this, or the client policy might be there to see it's reasonable, and you can use that. And so if it is in between 0 to 29, it's 0%. So likewise, then you can even do the allowance, as I told. You can calculate the allowance. And you can see whether, if it is not enough, you can ask the client to, pass a journal entry. You can ask the client to pass a journal entry. So likewise, this is a very versatile tool that you can calculate the age, right? The aging. And also that's one. So you can see easily you can perform an age analysis and do the bad debt calculation and see whether it's high or low, right? So in the exam, I'm not going to ask you to do these things using IBM. Like it's not necessary at all, but you can understand the power, but you have to understand the application, just to apply what kind of application idea could do. Although you are not asked to do that at the examination, you have to get an idea that what kind of, maybe I think you have seen this package, or maybe it's in your laptop provided by your audit firm, but maybe you are not using that. Maybe I have heard some students are only using that to generate what we call samples. Sampling also can be generated very easily. I can demonstrate that to you as well. Okay, so that's about aging and how to, then you can do your independent calculation and see whether it's reasonable, right? The client's value is reasonable with the value that you computed based on your computation. Is that clear? Right? Okay, so yes, great, good. Then also you can take the top 10 and bottom 10, or top 5 or bottom 5 or whatever, top 5 customers for bottom 5 customers. But however, before that, now here you have to understand these are invoices. Right? If you go to idea, you will understand these are invoices. Right, now let's go back to data. So if you want to go to data, you can just press here data. So you go to data because it was a result that you got. So that's why you went to result section, and the result was there, the aging was there, customer aging. This is the result section over here. And if you go back to data, you will see the data back. Now remember, these are not the receivable balance. Now you can see for an example, this is customer 1 has 2 transactions. So if you want to take the balance, that means you have to summarize. Right? You have to flatten. You have to summarize that. So here you can see now if you want to sort it, just double click here, right? And you can see there are, so customer 1 is here. So what's his balance? It's around 1,806, right? Something around 1,806. Likewise, now these are open invoices, not the receivable balances, not based on the customer. So if you want to create the receivable, accounts receivable, so for per customer, account number, what's the balance? Then you have to use this command called summarization. Okay. So let me show you how to use this summarization command. So you can use the summarization command. You can, let me show it again. So you'll go over here, use summarization. And then you are going to say summarize by reference number, no, by account number. By account number, you are going to summarize, you are going to flatten. Then what you are going to summarize, the balance is what you are going to summarize. You are going to use quick summarization. And let's call it the accounts receivable. Account receivable balances. So it's per balance. Let's do it. And it's a matter of just press OK. And now see what has come. There is a child file created under the invoice file. And now you can see here, this is account number 1 and the balance is 1,806. This is account number 2, the balance is 1,370. The invoices are summarized against the customer number. And of course, it says what are the invoices. If you want, you can go and see the invoices. What are these? The breakup of the invoices. So everything given. Very easily it's given. Right? Then now what you can do is you can do the analysis that was requested. Now it's asking, okay, what are the top 5 and the bottom 5 customers? Now it's not the top 5 invoices, it was asking the top 5 customers. So you have to do this first, summarization. And then what you can do is you can go to top records. Yeah, top records also, you can see the bottom records as well. Top records and bottom records both are given. The top records and bottom records. So we'll do a top record, right? Top records. So it asks how many records you need to extract. Let's say 5 top customers. So top records. Top records for what? It's for the account balances. So it's the balances. And that's it. And you can say top record extraction. It has given a name. Of course, no problem. So let's say top 5 customers. Top 5. Okay, you can press OK. And then it will create another child file under that, top 5 customers. So you can see these are the top 5 customers. So as auditors, we might need to audit the top guys. Right, top 5 customers. You can see customer number 800 has 146 transactions and the value is $76,800. Quite a big value, isn't it? In 47.9, likewise, the other customers are there. So their balances are the top customers. Then again, if you want to take the bottom customers, again, make sure that you go to the receivable file, which we created earlier. So go to the proper file and do the analysis. If not, it's going to create problems. So then you can go to, again, top records. And then you can select, again, 5. And here now you can say, now it's not a top records, you need a 5 bottom records. So you can say 5. And you can select here, bottom records. Right? So then, so again, the same, function, top, bottom, right? And then you can say bottom 5 customers. That's it. So simple, right? Bottom records and records of what? It's for the invoices, balance. So it's total of that invoices. So this is the received balance at the end of the year. So you can press OK. So again, you will see, yes, these are the, it's almost $0 and $1 accounts are there. So you have to be really investigating why zero balances. Maybe they might have settled all, that's correct. And why you have $1, you might need to just based on curiosity check that, why those are things like that. So the bottom 5 and top 5. So see how easily you can correct. Of course, you can do this in Excel, but see the time it would take. And you might make mistakes. Right? So what I compare is like, now, if I want to go to Colombo from Vijayarama, I have, let's say these days, I have an option, maybe I have to use the option that I'm going to tell you, but usually, if I want to go to Vijayarama, I could use a BMW to go, right? I could borrow it from Harendra sir and I could go to, he's having a BMW, so I could go to PETA for to buy something or to do something, right? Or I can use a buggy cart, right? I can use a Tirikale to go there. So what's easy? What's convenient? The BMW or the buggy cart? මේ දවස්වල නම් සේති වෙන කරන්න දෙයක් නෑ අපිට ඉතින් බගි එක නෙවෙයි පයින් තමයි යන්න වෙලා තියෙන්නේ දැන් මිනිසුන්ට ඕන වෙලා තියෙන්නේ ඒකද කොහෙද තමයි රිසර්ච් වලින් පෙන්නන්නේ so however right what's convenient the BMW right ඒක අහන්නත් දෙයක් නෙවෙයි BMW වෙලා පාසු likewise using Excel using Excel is like using a buggy cart. You have to put errors right? Likewise, it's sometimes if you don't know what you're doing, it's going to be a problem. If the data is not there, there's also going to be a problem. So likewise, I do have problems, when you are going to use Excel. But if you are going to use IDEA, it's like using a BMW. It will be very convenient and you can achieve your target very easily. But again, it will take you to the same destiny. The buggy cart also will take you to the destiny. The BMW also will take you to the destiny. That's correct. But the comfort is the error-free, being error-free. Likewise, it's not going to be 100% error-free. But again, those kind of benefits are there by using IT. And the best thing is, if you want, and you can see now whatever the audit trail, it's recorded even without our knowledge. So all the tests that I'll show you. So let me show you. So if you go to home, and up to now I performed several tests, right? So if I go to project overview, right, it has got the complete audit trail, which I could again convert into macro, and visual macro program is also there. Right? So that's not available in Excel. Here, everything which I did, right? And I can run this again. Right? I can run this again, and I can create a visual macro on this. And next time I have to just enter data, so it will do all the tests. So if I do 100 tests, it will take 1 minute maybe, and do all the tests that are available. 1 minute and do all the tests. So that kind of advantage is there. Okay. So this is what IDEA could do, but not in Excel. But all these tests you could run, right? You could just see, and you could convert to macros. You can create filters, and once you create a macro, you can next time you can save it and you can run all the tests within one go. So easy. So I'm going to close it and I'm going to go back to IDEA. So any questions so far? How many of you had used, now we have only how many students? Excellent. No, we have great students, 14 students. Okay, great. So if anyone had used idea, can you raise your hand? Or you can just say yes or no. That's all. I'm not going to ask more than that. Have you used idea? Hmm? Yes. Very good. Kasun says yes, use for the gap detection. Yes, that's what I'm going to do next. And Dhananjay also says yes. Udana says yes. Great, 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 great. Kasun again here. Yeah, great. That's very nice. Dev says not yet, but very good. So you'll be understanding that it's not difficult at all. It's if you know what you need to, achieve, what are your objectives. It's a very versatile tool, and you can see here, Control H. Okay, you can see that if you go to analyze, you have battery of tests. So although it's not the time to do that, but I have another course where I teach to the diploma students, advanced diploma in computer-based accounting students. It's a course that offered by the Department of Accounting. I teach all these tests, taking 15 weeks, right, one by one. Right. Then which customer has the largest balance and what's the breakup? So you can see I have already explained those things. Then duplication. Let's see how to do a duplicate test, right? So this is an example of duplication. So let's see. Now you have the invoice numbers. So then again, if you want to perform a test, go to the file, the relevant file. Then now it's the open invoice file, right? Open invoice file. So okay, right? So open invoice file, actually you have to go to that file when you want to perform the analysis, the relevant analysis, or you have to, the open invoices are having the invoices. So this is where you get the invoice numbers, right? So what it asks is that, so examine the reference numbers of invoices. So invoice numbers and see whether there are duplicates. Can there be duplicates in invoice numbers? Can or can't? You can't. Gaps you might have if cancel invoices are there, but invoice numbers, now of course you can double click on this reference numbers, then you have the invoice numbers. Indeed, there are gaps. Apparently, you can see that, but idea will find those gaps very easy. So how to do the gap analysis? Easy, very easy. You're going to go to gap detection over here. And then you are going to say, okay, on what field you are going to check the gaps, if the reference number, or the even for account number, you can check that. So these are gap. Oh, is it duplicate or gaps? What I'm doing? Sometimes I forget what I'm doing. So you are looking at not gaps, you are looking at duplicates. Sorry. So duplicates, right? With there and duplicates, gap analysis I'll show you again. So you are looking now duplicates, right? Duplicates. So you can go to the next thing over here, duplicate. So you can say duplicate detection. So whether there are any duplicates, you cannot find any duplicates in invoice numbers, in account numbers. No, you cannot have duplicates. Let's see whether there are duplicates in invoice numbers. So you'll go detection, and then you are going to say, okay, so this the file name is duplicate. Let's say invoices, right? And then you have to tell what's the key. Based on what key are you going to identify the duplicates? And it's not full name. It's the reference number. Okay. So you are going to use the reference number. That's the invoice number. Based on that, I would say, please choose the duplicates. I'll say, okay. So this is the reference number. I'll say, okay. So that's been chosen. Fields which say that, yeah, in your output file, what fields you require. Let's keep all. right? Say okay, and that's it. And I'm going to press OK. So then it will say these are duplicates, right? You can see there are two invoices having the same number. Invoice number, can it be the same? Now you can see there are two, it's two dates as well, right? For two customers. So these are duplicates, duplicate detection. So I have given that as the answer as well. You can see at the exam, you might be given this screenshot or maybe the output and ask, okay, interpret the results. So very simple. So this one you can understand. Now in Excel, if you are going to do that, see now there are 186 records. So are you going to view 186 records, 806 records? I think it's not possible. It's not worthwhile. So therefore, please keep in mind, yeah, you have to think very carefully to see whether these anomalies are there. So maybe this was an error, maybe it's a fraud. You have to check. Right, as what it is, we have to check. Okay, up to now we did several kind of analyses, right, using idea. Is it clear? Clear? Okay, great. Only two. Okay, is just here. Okay, great. So these tests are so interesting. Once you know what you are doing, it's very interesting, and you can perform that way. So I think it's high time that we take a small break, isn't it? And afterwards, we are going to, again, we have done certain duplicates. That's correct. Same, analysis has been done. And also, I will show you how to perform gap analysis. And also, I will show you how to perform certain other analysis as well. And then we can finish, the series of lectures on this aspect. So I think without getting a break, we'll go ahead and finish those analysis, simple to analysis, and I'll tell you how to do that. Right. Now, another test that you could do is you can find gaps. Right. Again, if you look at this, now you can find gaps. So there are several other analysis, but let me now teach you gaps. Right. So how to perform gap analysis? Again, very simple. Again, please make sure you go to the proper file. Now you have to go to the open invoice file. So go to the open invoice file over here, and it's there. And now let's see whether there are any gaps in the invoice numbers. Okay, so here you can go to gap detection, which I mistakenly went first. So you can go to gap detection, and it asks what the gaps that you want to look at. So it's the reference number, invoice number, whether there are any gaps which cannot be there. So we'll say gap detection. Result name, let's create a result, right? If the default, no problem, you could press OK. So you can see a lot of gaps are there. So there are gaps from 2 to 9. At 2 to 9, there's a gap. So likewise, you can see. So these are missing. Likewise, you can check certain gaps are there. Right, let's see, do a gap analysis for the account numbers as well. So again, make sure that you are in the proper file. Let's go to the data. So data is there. So let's see in account numbers where there are gaps. Maybe there might be, right? But that I think better if we can do that for the accounts receivable file. So here the account receivable file. Now the account numbers are there. These are the customer numbers. So you can see now it's of course in consecutive order. You can go to gap detection, and now the account number is there. That's it. And let's say gap detection for to distinguish that for AC numbers, customer numbers. Okay, you can press OK. There are account number to this amount there are. So it might be not errors, but seems there are certain gaps, right? You can check them. So likewise, you can perform different kind of analysis. And also, there's an analysis called Benford's analysis. Benford's analysis, right? And also RSF test, relative size factor test. Likewise, numerous analyses are there. And let me just teach you what we mean by this RSF test, relative size factor test. So for that, let me demonstrate. Right. I will take you to another file. So RSF test, right? It is called a relative size factor test. So let me demonstrate what do you mean by relative size factor test. An idea that will compute within seconds, but let me also teach you that to you because it will add some value. Okay. So okay, so let me do it first and see if it's going to work here. So let's run the relative size factor test. Or let me show you, best to show you that using the slideshow. Okay, let me go there. Give me a moment. Okay. So it's an interesting test, so that's what I want to show you. So interesting. Okay. Okay. So let me also show you certain other tests, right? That's another test that you could do using IDEA, right? I'm going to demonstrate. Okay. So can you see my slide? Yes or no? Okay, thank you. Okay, now there's another test that you can perform is called Benford's law. So Benford's law test can look at, anomalies. Now usually you expect a certain distribution. We call that normal distribution. Now we know that there are 9 digits, right? 0 to 9. So now these digits are in a number system there. These are there. So 0, 1, 2, 3, likewise 10 digits. So you will see that these are there, and these will fall based on a normal distribution. So these numbers will now, even in a large data set, you can expect these numbers to follow a certain pattern. Right? Let's say a huge number of invoices, payment invoices might be there, payment vouchers might be there. So payment vouchers might be there. Now in that payment vouchers, you can expect a certain amount of zeros, a reasonable number of zeros, then ones, twos, threes, fours, fives. Likewise, the digits, you can expect a certain number. So now IDEA could generate, by looking at the entire data set, entire numbers, it can generate the expected number of a digit like 1, 2, 3, and then if some number occurs unusually high, it will indicate that there is something wrong. Now look at this example. You will see by again this example. Now here it will show using this particular diagram, like it will show this blue color ones are the expected number, right? These are the expected number of a certain digit that occurs in a data set, right? A certain number of zeros, certain number of tens, certain number of nines, certain number of eights, likewise. But then if there's a number that's unusually high, then it will flag it, right? So that's what it says. Benford's law, this is a rule allows you to predict how often each number 1 through 9 will appear as first non-zero digit in a dataset. So this will tell like how many times a number digit would occur, expected and unusual. Now sometimes if you manipulate data, a number might increase unnaturally. Now let me give an example. Now take this example. Now let's say in a company, they have given the employees credit cards, right, for different types of purchases. And let's say they have set a maximum amount per transaction, $2,500. Maximum $2,500. Now let's say I want to buy an item. I am an employee and I'm a fraudulent one. I want to buy 10,000, an item that's worth of 10,000. Can I buy that? The maximum amount is 2,500. I want to buy an item 10,000. It is not allowed. Can I buy that? You can. If I want, I can. What I'll do is I will break it to this. Like I'll break it to 5 transactions. 2,499, 2,499, so it's below 2,500. Right? I'll break it to 5 transactions and I'll do the purchase. Right? Now these 5 transactions are going to be logged into the system as purchase. What will happen? What will happen to the 9s? What will happen to the 9s? Is it natural or unnatural? What will happen? 9s will be unnaturally inflated. Benford's law analysis will easily detect this kind of anomalies, and it will tell, like in this, it will show it as what? As a red flag. So that's what Benford's analysis does. It look at the data set, the payment voucher data set, right? And what it will do is it will predict in these kind of data set what will be the occurrence of 0 to 9 digits, and then it will identify if some number occurs unnaturally high, it will immediately show that. So the auditor will identify that 9 is too high, and it will also tell what are the transactions. So it will give the list, what are the transactions, and the auditor will detect that something has gone. So this is called the Benford's law. A very important law, again, that could be performed using idea that I'll be showing you, demonstrating you, if you're going to take the data analytics course in your next semester. Then let me finish it, right? So there are several tests that I want to discuss, but again, no time. Here, this test is called the relative size factor test. It's a very simple test. What it does is, it takes the largest record on a subset and divide it by the second largest record in the subset. What the heck is that? Let me demonstrate. Right? Let's say a husband, right, gave his credit card to his wife to do purchases. Right? Is it a good idea? I don't know. Right? So in January, so this is the January, right? The wife did 3 transactions to buy groceries, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. Okay, 3 transactions, 3 times. This is in in 1990, right? The Megant petrol ටික පොඩ්ඩක් මේක 1990 වෙච්ච සිද්ධි. Right? At that time, this is a big amount. Then in February, the wife purchased 2,250, 2016, 2008. In March, she did certain transactions as well. Right? Likewise, she might have done this for 52 weeks for each year, and for the next year also 52 weeks. Now, the husband cannot check everything, but the husband can do a RSF test, a relative size factor test, right? So in January transaction, he will take the highest number and divide it the next highest number, second highest number. Now tell me, Puta, out of these 3 transactions, 2,000, 2,500, and 3,000, what's the highest number? What's the highest number? I'm asking a very simple question. Yes, it's 3,000. So then you take the next highest number, 2,500. So the RSF factor is 1.2. That is what we call the RSF, relative size factor, right? In January, or within that subset, you take the highest number, and the next highest number you take. Then you do that for the next. Yeah, the RSF factor, now idea will calculate that within 1 second, right? For 10,000, 1 million transactions per customer, it will do the customer wise RSF factor to calculate. Then if the husband calculates the RSF factor to February, what will be the value? 2,250, 2,600, 2,800. What's the highest value? 2,800 divided by 2,600. 1.0. You can see it's around 1 RSF, because usually per week grocery transactions will be, usually you have consistency in purchases as well as in certain expenses, right? You have consistency. You don't have very large fluctuations. But see what has happened in March. Now what's 14,000? That's the largest value. It's 14,000. I don't know what she has paid for 14,000. And then the next largest one is 2,008. Now you can see the RSF factor is inflated to 5. Usually it should be 1, but now you can see it's 5. So immediately it's a red flag. Maybe it's a genuine transaction. Maybe she has bought something durable, right? But it's a red flag. Now this is only for, I just took for demonstration purpose only for 3. Now there might be 100 transactions per month, right? That an employee performs, right? And there might be 100 or 1,000 employees. So you can calculate RSF factor, and RSF factor can be calculated very easily using SPSS, using IDEA, right? And it will tell the RSF factor immediately, and then we can detect something is wrong. I don't say that this is a fraud or this is an error. Maybe something is wrong. It's not consistent. There's some anomaly. So this is what simply means RSF factor. Is it clear? What you did was what? Because why this happens? Why this phenomena happens? Because usually you see consistency. Expenses well consistency factor. You see a consistency in your expenses. But sometimes it might go out of blast. You might have paid for your examinations. You might have paid for some other unexpected expense. You might have purchased something. Likewise, your RS factor might go up. So you can do this for maybe 1,000 employees and see their RSF factors and see if something is inconsistent. So these another test that you can do using IDEA. And these are only I demonstrated about handful of tests. So there are hundreds of tests that you can perform and identify these kind of anomalies and frauds. So here in IDEA, you can calculate the RSF factor, and you can see here for this particular customer, supplier, you can see the largest amount was 32,000. The second largest amount is just 545 in transactions. So huge difference, right? Usually when you are going to buy from suppliers, there's a consistency, right? So the RSF factor is 59, raises red flags. So in this an IDEA output, you can easily calculate. Right. Okay, so I think that's enough, right? Or if not, and that's the power of IDEA. So I think while demonstrating, please see what's Benford's analysis. I demonstrated that, and I in fact showed you that, I explained to you that an RSF factor test, so it will be important for your examinations as well. So understand those things. So as I told you, for the examination purposes, again, let me give you a small summary about the exam, which I already did. So this video I'm going to give you all of you, although there are 13 students at the moment, I don't mind because I know that there are difficulties, but I very well also know that the students would come and they are not taking part, and although they have the ability to take part, I could make it compulsory, or I could give some test, which I'm not going to do. Just I'm not going to waste my time. It's up to you. If you study, you can pass the exam, and if you want to really get good grades, you have to work very hard, learn, study, and read additional material, read the textbook, and do it properly. So it's completely up to you. Right? Get motivated and try to get good grades. That's what I could say. So again, it will be a computer-based exam. So as I told you, it will be a 3-hour examination. Completely, you have to do it using LMS. Again, there will be case studies, small case studies, mini case studies, and you'll be having theory questions, you'll have practical applications. Right, you'll be given a small case study, right, and asked, okay, what kind of audit opinion you have to give in this instance. Then you might be asked, okay, you are in a scenario, and you are going to ask, okay, what kind of audit procedures you have to perform, maybe under payroll, maybe under sales, maybe under purchases, maybe something. So likewise, the examination is going to test your knowledge on audit procedures, and not only audit procedures, on whole host of things that we have taught you from day 1 to the last day on 24th, right? Okay, so that's what I could tell, and we'll have our final lecture on 24th. So, but that lecture will be taken up by Mr. Wajira. It's an additional lecture, in fact. So please do come. Don't display your you're kind of, what to say, I'm not going to verbalize that, but again, sure that he's a person who will be very much loved, and he's an external lecturer, he's a visiting lecturer. So make sure that you have adequate attendance. If not, he will see, if he sees that there are 13 students like this, he will stop the lecture. So you have a duty, right, to display for at least for those lecturers. For me, I don't mind. But again, that person will see, therefore make sure that you have adequate attendance on that day, and that will be the last lecture. And we are not going to discuss anything else. He's going to discuss that and he's going to finish the lecture. So I take this opportunity, therefore I'm going to take this opportunity to wish you all the very best in the preparation of the examinations and on also your life activities. And the only way that you can get out of this, all kind of difficulties is putting your effort in a smart way, of course, and on a consistent way. So therefore, please keep that in mind and always think about 10 years from now, what you are trying to achieve, and what you want to be. Just visualize. You are going to be a plush, nice office, or maybe you are going to be an entrepreneur, and you are going to direct maybe 100 people, 1,000 people, or 10,000 people, and you can see where some of our graduates are, right? Wow, like I already told you, like Mr. Supun Veerasinghe, Mr. Sanjay Bandar, who are in topmost positions. So why can't you? They were exactly like you, now seated like you, studying like you, and now they're in very, very good positions. Very good positions, excellent positions, excellent positions. So that's what I could uh, expect from you as well. But to come to that position, it's not just luck. In a free world, all would have luck. It's like luck is, for me, preparation meets opportunity. Right? You need to be prepared, meaning that you have to work very hard and get your skills, you get your knowledge, and then the opportunity comes your way. And also, I will add another element to that. That's action. You have to be prepared, right? You have to be prepared. Then the opportunity will come on your way. We get every day, each person of you get opportunities. But on the other hand, we have to have action. So action means we have to work hard, smart, hard, then you can achieve in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, your objectives. Why not? All of my students could achieve that. Right? You are a special breed. Keep that in mind. I know that because I am one of you. Right? So therefore, please work hard and don't give up. Yes, you might have a lot of unexpected things happening in your life, even by looking at what's going on around us. But again, that will happen and that will go. People will live, people will die. They are not going to be here forever. All the people think that they will be. But we have a great life, particularly you have a great life to live and set an example to the entire society. Remember, you are students of whom? You have come to Jayawardhan University. We have public students as public student as well. We have accountancy students. So you have come to Jayawardhan University, right? In the Faculty of Management Studies, the topmost faculty. See, where's Mr. Vagapiti, one of the great entrepreneurs, Mr. Dr. Ravidian. Like you can see Raigam. So the heights that they have climbed, it's not just through luck. Again, they were well prepared. The opportunity came in their way. Of course, the opportunity come all our ways, and then they acted on it. So now the action is required. The action is required. So therefore, study well, have a plan. Don't say that you are busy. People who say busy are weak. They are busy of unnecessary things. Right? They are busy on unnecessary things, not necessary things. Focus on your core activities. As a student, what's your core activity? Focus on it. At studies. Maybe you have a chartered exams, whatever, you can focus on that and do it very well. And don't try to do it at the last moment. Have a schedule, break it to, so I showed you how I scheduled myself. I use a free Google Sheet for my to-do list and for my list of things, my progress tracking, everything. I use that free sheet. I track my progress. I see what are the activities I do per day, the main activities I should do, and I do a weekend analysis of how many times or whether I have achieved my at least basic target. Now, for example, just let me give an example. I finished the lecture. So if I want to, study, or let's say let's take a basic example that applies to all of us, exercise. So how many, so I will say, okay, 20-minute sessions, that's all per day. I will say, okay, per week, I will do it for 3 times at least, right? 3 times 20-minute sessions. So we have 5 days or 7 days, let's say, at least 3 times. So I'm going to track that. I'm in an Excel file, I'm going to write that and I'm going to track that. Okay, my expectation is, okay, 3 times. So in fact, how many times I did? That is, I will track that. What you track is what you do. If you don't track things, particularly important things, so how many lectures you had listened to, how many revisions you had done, and whether you have scheduled the things, so you can track them. Track things. If not, you will lose track. You will go off track, right? So track that in an Excel sheet. Put all your important activities and see, track that per day, whether you are doing it or not. Not all things the most important, right? So with those important ideas that I use as productive tools, so let me take this opportunity. So wish you all the very best. Today is not the last lecture, but this is the last lecture that I'm going to speak to you. Then Mr. Vajira on 24th will come and do his final lecture, which is an extra lecture. In the sense, it's not extra, in the sense it will not be tested for the exam. It will be very well tested for the exam in case studies and other questions. So please do come. And also, he's a visiting lecturer. He's a very recognized person, a respected person. So don't just have 13 students. Now you have only 11 students, right? Make a So that's what we should say that. But at least if one student gets this idea and become successful in these trying periods, I feel very happy. With that claims, thank you very much. Wish you all the very best. Please take care. And let's meet on 24th. I'm going to log you in. And then afterwards, Mr. Vajra will be doing the lecture. And we'll finish the lecture series on that day. Good luck and good luck. Please take care. Okay, Putra, I'm getting a lot of, things. Thank yous from 10 students. But the quantity doesn't matter, Putra. What matters is the quality of people. Orvita, so happy to see you all because you valued the lecture to listen lively. Although others have, I'm very, I'm not a fool, so I know others could come, but they did not. Some students, in fact, wrote to me that they are not well. But again, I wish all the students well best. Not, but particularly I really respect and as well as show my gratitude for the students who took part in the lecture. And even at this moment, although it's 10 students, I really respect as well as I really show my gratitude for them. Thank you, Putra. I have got a lot of good messages. Thank you. So please keep in mind that you have to work hard and you have a great journey to go. Don't allow anyone or anything to stop you from getting to there. Not these politicians, not these really dirty politicians or whatever the circumstances, go for your good journey, go for your targets, go and keep on your good journey. Okay, good night. Please take care. Bye for now.